I just want to ask you, was there a defining moment that you had that really prompted your decision to run for Congress?
Yes. The big moment that kind of prompted me to run for Congress was I was meeting with one of my clients. And after the election and after the change in the president, after Trump was inaugurated, a lot of my clients have been terrified that they are going to be separated from their families, that they're going to lose their health care and their medical insurance, that their businesses are going to close because of the chaos in the economy. And one particular client that I had was in tears and very fearful that they were going to be separated from their children. And they are a legal resident of the United States. And it was at that moment that I realized, as a mental health provider, I can provide coping skills. I can provide a safe space. I can validate feelings, but it doesn't do anything to touch the actual systemic root of so many of the problems that Americans face today.
What do you feel like those systemic roots are? I know on your website you want to address the root causes of inequality, injustice, addiction, and poor mental health at the policy level. So how do you plan to do that?
So it starts with having policy that works for people. So as a social worker, I have actually worked in policy and legislation. And so I've taken state and federal policy and also directives from the state superior court and incorporated it into policy for frontline social workers. And what I saw so often is that so much of the policy that's enacted is great in theory, but when you get down to the actual individual person, it doesn't work for the person. It doesn't work in the field. It doesn't work for the social worker. It doesn't work for hospitals and cities and counties. And so the ways that I want to enact change at the policy level are to really take a look at what is this policy, what is going to be the individual impact to each and every person, and really looking at how do we make policy, how do we implement programs that work for everyday people.
You are from the 23rd District yourself.
I am.
So how do you feel like your personal background growing up in this district is going to help you and make you the right person for the job?
So born and raised in the 23rd. My grandparents have been in the 23rd since the 60s when my grandfather retired from the Air Force after 22 years. My grandmother was an RN for almost 30 years at a local hospital. And I lived all over the 23rd growing up. And so my experiences, both living in the city parts of the district and in the more rural parts of the district where you live on a dirt road, where you don't have immediate access to a grocery store, to a pharmacy, because you have to travel to get there. I understand these things. And it really impacts how I feel about policy involving small business, because so many of our rural communities can't and shouldn't have to rely on big business to come in and meet the needs of these communities. And so we really need to invest in small businesses so that these small rural communities can have a pharmacy, can have a grocery store, and get their needs met by the people in the community that actually care for the community. Because big corporations, big box stores, they don't care about our rural communities. They're just there to make a buck.
Let's talk about the incumbent, Jay Obernolte. Why do you feel like you're the right person to oust him, and what has he done that you consider harmful for this district and just, I guess, the nation in general?
So again, I think it goes back to being born and raised, living there my entire life. I have deep roots and deep relationships in the community. I live and I work in this community. I've spent my professional career giving back to this community as a social worker and a mental health provider. And so I not only know the needs of each of our distinct communities, but I have real solutions to solve them. And Jay Obernolte has consistently voted against the best interest of his constituents. Take, for instance, his vote on the Big Beautiful Bill. The cuts to Medicare and Medicaid that are going to be implemented because of this bill will very likely close 4 of the rural hospitals in our district. Barstow, the hospital in Joshua Tree, and 2 of the hospitals in our mountain communities. these people will now, in those communities, will now have to drive 45 minutes to over an hour to reach a hospital. How is that in the best interest of the constituents of this district?
We first met at the Cal City Board meeting, like I was just talking about, where a lot of community members urged the council to vote against the core civic detention facility. And you were one of the speakers that were also advocating against this. So how do you plan on continuing to advocate for undocumented immigrants if holding office?
So I truly believe that we need a true and fair path to citizenship in our country. We currently do not have that. And instead of investing in core civic, and instead of investing in these massive for-profit prisons that many Congress people currently are invested in privately, we need to be looking at taking that money and putting it into hiring judges, hiring representation for undocumented children who are caught in the system. We need to look at taking that money to create that path to citizenship so we can ease the burden on the system and so that we can actually create a path forward for contributing members of society that work hard and just want a safe place for their families.
Before we started the interview, you had said you don't feel like this is a race a lot of people are paying attention to. Why is that?
I think that the 23rd is overlooked. It's a predominantly rural district. It's a huge district, but it's predominantly rural. And people don't think that this is a winnable race, that a Democrat can flip this seat. And I want to prove them wrong. This is a district that is worth paying attention to. This is a district with so many hardworking communities and hardworking people, and they deserve a chance. They deserve a representative that actually represents their interests in Congress and isn't just there to line their own pockets. There's only a 3-point difference between Democrats and Republicans in this district. That doesn't include independents. That doesn't include people who don't claim a party. And I truly believe that when I'm out there every day building relationships with my community, that I am going to be able to flip this district. And this is a district that people need to pay attention to.
This kind of coincides with what you just said, but how do you plan on gaining that support from voters who elected Obernolte or just typically vote Republican?
So again, I think it goes back to relationship building, and I think it goes back to communication. So in my job as a social worker and a mental health provider, the strength of the relationship between myself and my client is going to be the biggest indicator of success for my client. And I believe that that transcends just social work, just mental health practice. That goes to our communities as well. The strength of the relationship between a constituency and its representative is going to be indicative of the success of that community. And so I am out there every single day building relationships and talking to the people in my district and communicating with them. And that's what I do every day as a social worker, is I build relationships, I communicate with people effectively and impactfully, and that is my path to winning over this district.
And alongside you, there are, I believe, 3 other Democrats that are planning on running in the race. So what do you feel separates you from them?
So I truly believe that my work giving back to the community is what separates me. It's also the work that I have done in our hospitals. I have worked in our schools. I've worked for the county government. I've worked for nonprofits. And so I haven't just worked with one section of society or another. I have worked across various fields in social work with people from all socioeconomic backgrounds. And so it's not just one niche or another. I've really worked with everyone in my community. And so I truly believe that that is what sets me apart. It's my ability to build relationships. It's my ability to talk to people. And it's my ability to also listen to people that is really going to set me aside.
Your shirt, it says, elect tattooed people to Congress.
Yes.
Can you talk more about that message and what you want voters to think when they read your shirt or just your campaign?
Of course. So I am partial to tattoos, but it's less a statement on just electing a tattooed person to Congress, and it's more about everyday people, everyday hardworking people some of us have tattoos. And I truly believe that in Congress, in our government, in our local government, we need more everyday people to take positions in office. Our current representatives are millionaires. Jay Obernolte is worth almost $100 million and is the 11th richest member of Congress the last time I checked. What could he possibly know about struggling to get your kids to school while also getting to work on time? What could he possibly know about having to drive 45 minutes to get your prescription, or not being able to drive that 45 minutes because you have a flat tire and don't have money to get your tire changed? And so it's less a statement on just tattooed people specifically, but it's more a statement on we need regular, hardworking, everyday people in positions of power.
And do you have any message to Obernolte that you would just like to say in this race?
I would say to Mr. Obernolte that I truly believe that you think that your seat is safe, and that you don't have to work hard for the people in your community, and that you can sit back and relax and only play to your Republican voters while ignoring your Democratic constituents and your independent constituents and your no party preference constituents. And I'm here to tell you that your seat is not safe. You have not brought industry, you have not brought money, you have not brought jobs to our communities, and the people are here to see it.
Is there anything else that you want people to know about you, or anything else that you'd like to add?
Of course. So I am running as a Democrat, but my campaign is not about Democrat or Republican or independent. My campaign is really about my community. Because again, this is the community that I grew up in, that I've lived in my entire life, that I own a home in, that I work in. This is the community that I care about. And I really believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. And so I want my community to thrive. And this is why I am working so hard to call people in my district, to meet with people in my district, because it's not just the people that are going to vote for me. This is my community. These are my neighbors. And so I want to win this race because I want to be a representative for all of my community, Republican, Democrat, independent, whatever. I want to be a representative for everyone, not just a couple few, and not just to line my own pockets.
And how would it feel if your neighbors did elect you?
I think it would be, it puts a big smile on my face, because it would mean that all the work that I put in to show them that I do care and that I want this district to succeed, I want them to succeed, it would mean that they saw that and they truly believed in that, and that they believe in this vision of we can care for each other, our community can care for itself, and I think that would just be such an amazing thing.
Anything else you'd like to add?
If you would like to learn more, you can visit my website, tessaforca.com. That's TESSAFORCA.com.
All right, Tessa, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.